All businesses operating in this field will benefit from it, not only ours. The past 6 to 9 months have seen a truly monumental event, and that's after the ETF is adopted. Among institutional investors, there has been a change in mindset. A whole new market has emerged. For a long time, we all assumed it was an industry.
Yeah.
Individuals are providing us with unsecured loans, Possible collaboration inquiries are flooding our inbox. Tokenization is a concept that every major organization is trying to understand. So I am more confident now than I have been in the past decade of being involved with crypto that more institutions will be involved and the area will grow in the next 12 and 24 months. But that doesn't imply there will be a monthly or quarterly price increase. I see. Our starting point for this quarter was 73,000 today. There have been 65,604 weeks thus far. In contrast to the majority of businesses outside of crypto, the amount of activity, revenue, and excitement for all of our businesses, Galaxy's business included, is highly tied to a single asset. I see. When the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies rises, your income from staking and asset management also rises, and your trade volumes increase. So the ups and downs of the Maya's market will continue to affect us. The effects of ETF adoption are intriguing to observe, as well as the mental change it prompted in large-scale financial institutions. For the cryptocurrency industry's growth over the last 6 to 12 months, this change has been important, as Mike pointed out. Significant interest and action from prominent institutions has been observed. This is more than a passing fad. This change is not going anywhere. More than that, when the price of Bitcoin rises, the peculiar dynamics of the cryptocurrency market are brought to light by the association between price fluctuations and general market performance. The asset management activities, staking revenues, and trading volumes have all been on the rise recently. All companies in the cryptocurrency market, including Galaxy Digital, have to deal with this volatility. Everything here is a stage for a story. This is a story, that's what I mean. My strength as a storyteller is the reason I excel in this field. We are in need of competent dealers. However, narrative has a significant role. It will continue to play a significant role until the protocols developed with blockchain technology find widespread application. Additionally, that generates income. Yes, it's more than simply a shop. Their potential actions are the focus at the moment. In order for such tales to progress, you'll need use cases and proof of concepts, etc. However, our company is all about stories. The last 9 months were filled with fantastic narratives. Expect ETF soon. Supporting this is Larry Fink. Yes, 10 more massive trades involving firms entering the ETF market. Not alone, Larry Fink. The slicing was imminent. Chair Powell will be slashing 8 times, incidentally. 2 out of the 3 were ours. Until further notice, Chairman Powell is unlikely to be able to cut it. I see. Fixed income has been on a tear recently. Prices of cryptocurrencies skyrocket once more. Here we are at 65 after being at 57 and 61, setting new records in the production of gold, silver, and copper. As a result, the useful but terrifying story of the economy slowing down is making a comeback. As I mentioned yesterday, until the Federal Reserve steps in or there is a major regulatory breakthrough, I do not see Bitcoin breaking out of its previous high of $73,000.
Yeah.
With both of those, you may expect a modest delta. That is why I believe we are somewhat different. Yeah, as for the number 65, I said 75. It's a fairly large range, I apologize. The total is 55.75. More likely, it's closer to 50.73. We have likely already included the lowest and highest prices. Yeah, currently, till we take our next step. I also think we're going to go nearer to the election, therefore I think the next step is up. Powell will desire to lower interest rates. Indeed, I see the logic. And indeed, the general public is understandably worried. With regard to the overall U.S. debt, both net and fiscal, I would also like to ask you this. I also wouldn't mention monetary policy too often. The market and the general public seem to have finally figured out that the Federal Reserve is creating money by fiat. The story is spread in that way. How concerned are you about the future, though? As a patriot and an American, I am terrified. As a matter of fact, I had a meeting with 2 senators, 1 Republican and 1 Democrat 2 days ago at their office. Yesterday, I had a 1-hour phone conversation with a member of Congress. The senator and I will be meeting again soon. Plus, I'm interested in a wide variety of things. Yeah, at the moment I will be discussing 2 topics. The dreaded debt and crypto regulation. Their positions are diametrically opposed. Bitcoin would suffer under a Biden or Trump administration that tackled the inefficient federal budget, which accounts for 26% of GDP instead of the recommended 20%. This results in Washington being populated by awful politicians, wasteful spenders, and populists. Beneficial to my wealth. Why? Because it's like comparing apples to oranges, isn't it? That's simply a Bitcoin narrative. Just as the price of gold is rising, so is the price of Bitcoin. Being a more recent technology, it has risen more rapidly. We are an emerging product, I see. As a result, the adoption cycle is progressing more rapidly. Can you explain this to me? This year, there has been a net withdrawal of capital from gold ETFs. Even so, the price of gold is on the rise. I find it intriguing. This was just brought up over lunch. Gold has been purchased by 200 billion individuals. Costco, for example, sells 200 million. That's quite incredible. The Warehouse Club. Here at Podcast Business Unnamed, we have one espionage podcast. And only one individual contacted us. The podcast was a huge hit with him. In his mind, he could be our sponsor. Bullion JM. Indeed, I have laid eyes on the biggest, most prominent vendor of gold coins. They even provided us with gold coins to offer our visitors. Amazing. Given my strong stance on the gold market, they appear to enjoy it. They truly enjoy our antics. I think it's great that JM Bullion is doing it. Having a sponsor is always helpful. Yeah, is physical money leaving ETFs the primary source of outflows, or is there another factor at play? For example, international monetary institutions or something? These people do not purchase the exchange-traded funds. A record number of foreign central banks are, thus, purchasing gold. Pace. You know, when the United States kicks Russia in the knees after the war begins, China and the rest of them buy gold. I see. Russian Federation. The idea that the United States can really accept our currency was, I believe, voiced by some. They take everything including the reserves. Yeah. Therefore, I will investigate this ETF. All we were doing was discussing. I think that's a great question. I find it intriguing. Yeah, since I was considering the possibility that the younger generation, when considering a hedge against the dollar or some other currency, would likely choose Bitcoin over gold, for example. In addition, Bitcoin, rather than gold, would be a better investment if seen as a growth story rather than a hedge. Foreign central banks, though, that seems to make perfect sense. When compared to other currencies, the dollar has not been very strong recently. Indeed, that is undeniable. Every one of them looks terrible. And it's currently beginning to lose some of its strength. Yeah, what is transpiring there is just intriguing, So everybody just talk to the United States. You should have an impartial head of the central bank and a central bank. Thus, J-PAL it is. Additionally, the executive branch has a treasury. Yeah, I see. Also, it follows the same budgeting and spending patterns as Congress. I see. Congress must allocate the funds. It surprises me that Janet Yellen, a public servant, would be remembered as the worst Treasury Secretary in my lifetime. She is a kind woman. She used to be an adequate head of the central bank, but now she's actively involved in politics and refuses to address the massive deficit. There is no balancing act in these social undertakings, even though you might agree with them. Therefore, we are simply spending beyond our means, and by some unseen yield curve control, she is influencing the yield curve, isn't she? Flowing forward with a decrease at the rear. Along with her, PAL is functioning in tandem.